This is absurd as we have multiple new Los Angeles Lakers injury updates to go over ahead of the big game against the Boston Celtics. And what are in these injury updates have fans concerned? We're going to break that down as well as discuss some details being revealed behind the scandal between Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James and the confrontation between the two. A bunch of crazy things to go over today. But before we get into it, folks, quick reminder, hit that subscribe button. If you're part of the 90% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. The Lakers have been absolutely rolling, and they have a huge, huge game against the Boston Celtics tomorrow. And we have the injury report to go over, which is pretty interesting. Some good news there and some bad news as well. So a bunch to go over today. And also, of course, the Stephen A. Smith thing. We're going to start with that. Now, if you missed it yesterday, there was some interesting things. You can see this here. Stephen A. Smith confirms LeBron confronted him about his recent comments about Bronny. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. Now, this was following the tweet that went viral surrounding Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James after the big win yesterday for the Lakers against the New York Knicks in overtime. LeBron confronted Stephen A. Smith and had a bunch of things to say, and ultimately it went pretty viral. And Stephen A. Smith had to go on ESPN First Take and kind of talk a little bit. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what kind of the context was behind this, Stephen A. Smith in the past said, "I'm pleading with LeBron James, the father, stop this." After Bronny played poorly in garbage time minutes in a random Tuesday night game, he's obviously not wrong to check him about that weird stuff. And it was very interesting. And if you watch the Stephen A. Smith ESPN thing, he seemed pretty shook. He seemed pretty, not scared, but it's a very interesting scenario because Stephen A. Smith was trash talking Bronny and trash talking LeBron. And in the actual, clip there, if you watch it, he basically said, "Keep my son's name out of your effing mouth," basically, is what LeBron James supposedly said following the game against the New York Knicks. So just wanted to cover that a little bit. Stephen A. Smith basically came out and said that they have mutual respect for each other, but obviously LeBron did not after that incident, and that he came up to him and ripped him about Bronny James. Wanted to cover that. And again, talking about how this wasn't a basketball player in front of me. That was a parent. That was a father. A bunch of weird things. And how, Stephen A. Smith basically came out and said how this should be done behind closed doors. All that stuff. It is what it is. It was a pretty ridiculous thing. But what's not ridiculous is how on fire the Lakers are. The Lakers have now jumped the New York Knicks for the fourth best record in the NBA. Boston is next. So a bunch of different things to go over here. Obviously, as you look at the standings now for in the NBA, these are, of course, overall standings. The Lakers now sit fourth. They are 40-21. And like Hunter alluded to in the video last night, to be considered a really good team, usually the 40-20 mark through 60 games this season is like, okay, you're a championship caliber team. Now, obviously, there is some huge contingencies to this, especially now with the play-in tournament. I mean, you can really, if you're good in the regular season, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be good in the playoffs. But it goes to show, A, how good of a job JJ Redick has done with this staff, but B, how important Luka Doncic has been to this team. And they need to continue to hold on to that number 2 spot in the Western Conference. And they have a big game tomorrow against the 3 seed in the NBA in the Boston Celtics. And we have a bunch of injury updates to go over today. So, Hachimura and Jackson Hayes is questionable. And the Hayes being questionable is actually not great news. So, Luka Doncic and LeBron are both probable. Austin Reaves is not on the injury report, so he's going to play tomorrow. Jordan Goodwin, not on the injury report, so he's going to play tomorrow, which means multiple returns are imminent at this point for the Lakers as it pertains to, I guess, one return, Jordan Goodwin, because Austin Reaves returned yesterday and kind of stunk up the place a little bit, but he'll be fine. That's probably the worst game that he has all season. But Jackson Hayes is down with a right knee contusion. Now, the good news is a right knee contusion isn't going to be something that keeps Hayes out for a extremely long period of time or anything like that. But you are going up against the Boston Celtics team. We have the injury update for them as well. They are a very good team, right? They're the third best team in basketball, arguably the best team in the East, aside from the Cavaliers. You can go back and forth on that. But he took a hard fall in yesterday's game a few times. And Hayes being questionable, I wouldn't be surprised if Jax doesn't play in tomorrow night's game. I mean, yes, this game is extremely important. We're going to see everybody in all likelihood playing. But you look at how important Jackson Hayes is, because their backup center right now is, of course, Trey Jemison. And going up against the Celtics, they're not the biggest team when it pertains to having a huge center, and a lot of their scoring doesn't revolve around their center. It revolves around, of course, Jaylen Brown. It revolves around Jason Tatum, Kristaps when healthy, Drew Holiday is their defensive guy, point of attack defender. But having Jackson Hayes, he's really starting. He played a season-high 34 minutes in last night's game, or 32 minutes, and he played a season high. He is starting to develop chemistry with Luka Doncic, with LeBron James, with everybody on this team, and what that means is the more he plays with these guys, the better he's going to get. And for him to go down with an injury, it's a little bit unfortunate. Again, the good news is it's not anything extremely serious. Also, on a side note, Jalen Brunson's x-rays came back negative. So you never want to see players injured. Jalen Brunson he's going to be good. So that's good for the Knicks, I guess, if you're a Knicks fan out there watching, or if you just, don't want players to get hurt in general, which, we all don't. It's a big deal for tomorrow's game. And it's okay because obviously he's not going to be out long-term, contusion, basically just a bruise. But at the same time, and he could play tomorrow. There is still a chance of that. And as you look at the Celtics injury report, Sam Hauser, Jrue Holiday, and Kristaps are all questionable. So Hauser's, three very solid players, Jrue Holiday and Kristaps, obviously two very key contributors to this Boston Celtics team. So it's going to be a bit of a back and forth tomorrow, but the Lakers need to continue to win these games. It just needs to happen because every single game matters, and it's rare that games matter this much in the regular season, but when you're talking about the Lakers, you look at Denver, they are a half game back of the Los Angeles Lakers. You need to hold on to that 2 spot. It becomes extremely important to do so because, again, you're not going to surpass the Oklahoma City Thunder at this point for the 1 seed in the West. If you can hold on to that 2 spot, it gives you a much more favorable matchup. It gives you home court advantage, and it gives you, matchups down the line as well because we know Genie Bus came out yesterday. One of the big reasons that they made the trade for Luka Doncic is not only because Luka Doncic is fantastic, but it's because for the past 3 seasons, they lost to the Nuggets, right? And they didn't think they could do another season like that, specifically against Anthony Davis or with Anthony Davis against, a very interesting team against the Nuggets. Like they have a very good squad. But as you start to look at it from the perspective specifically of the Lakers, it's going to be a battle down the stretch, and there's no doubt about it. And hopefully LeBron and Luka will play. I mean, they're probable every single night because you never really know on a given night if they will or if they will not be playing. Like you usually have an idea, especially when they're probable. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it is going to be a very, very interesting game tomorrow, but an absolute battle, especially down the stretch here as the Lakers hopefully continue to roll with in the Western Conference. But a couple other things before we wrap up here. LeBron James, and an article came out, I wanted to cover this a little bit. He's the team's best catch and shoot player, making 48.3% on catch and shoot 3 attempts since Christmas. Only Luke Kennard, old friend Torian Prince, and Isaiah Joe have been better on catch and shoot threes since December 25th. So LeBron James, we saw he hit a clutch 3 in the corner yesterday. With Luka Doncic, him being one of the team's best catch and shoot players is not only massive, but having Luka now on the team, LeBron, it's been a while, of course, since he played with Kyrie, since he's had a real true superstar at the point guard position. And Luka Doncic, a guy who can actually go up and score you buckets in the clutch with the ball in his hands. Like AD can in the post, all these different things. But as it pertains to LeBron James, him being a catch and shoot shooter, like, yes, he's going to get his own. He's been playing fantastic basketball, but being able to hit in the corners, being able to space the floor better for Luka Doncic is going to be fantastic. And so it's going to help them and has helped them win 8 games in a row and be 25-7 at home. But that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. A bunch of crazy things. Stephen A. Smith, and of course, the latest Lakers updates. We keep you up to date with all the latest Lakers news. So make sure to subscribe button. Cheers.